It started with a kind of afternoon that reminded me of childhood Sundays, the soft hush in the air, the scent of something warm wafting from a kitchen you once called home. The light slanted just right through my office window at Rothman and Lindley, catching the edge of my framed diploma the way Mom's kitchen clock used to catch the sunrise. It should have been an ordinary day. I'd just closed a deal. A clean, solid win. Another quiet step toward partnership. My pen tapped gently on the desk, a steady rhythm of satisfaction. Life in that moment felt earned, balanced, secure. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost let it go to voicemail until I saw the area code. Local. Familiar. Tied to the same bank where my parents had opened my childhood savings account, back when dollar bills smelled like bubble gum and birthday money was tucked into cards with cursive notes that said, "Love, always." I picked up. "This is Lauren Hayes." A man's voice, professional but hesitant, came through. "This is Brad Coleman from Horizon First Bank. I need to verify information for a mortgage loan on a property at 720 Glenwood Drive." I frowned. "I'm sorry, what address?" 720 Glenwood Drive, he repeated, slower this time. "You're listed as a cosigner. The primary applicant is Nicole Hayes." Nicole. My sister. Her name came with a rush of images, her tiny hand clutching mine in the back seat during thunderstorms, the way she used to beg to sleep in my bed after bad dreams. Her tearful late-night calls in college. Her laughter, always a little too loud, a little too forced. A dull throb built behind my ribs. "There's a mistake," I said, my tone steady but firm. "I haven't co-signed anything for Nicole. I don't even know where Glenwood Drive is." A pause. "I understand," Brad said cautiously. "But the documents were signed 7 months ago. All with your signature. Your parents brought them to our branch in person." 7 months ago. Something inside me slipped. My pen fell from my hand, clattering on the desk. My mind flinched toward Christmas Eve, Mom in the kitchen, stirring gravy with her wooden spoon, her smile strained. Nicole had laughed off my questions about her new place. Dad waved them away like gnats, gruff and dismissive. "It's nothing. Just a small investment." Then came another memory. Dad's birthday in March. A cake, candles, and a stack of papers thrust toward me between the laughter. "Just sign real quick," Mom had chirped. Standard renewal stuff. I'd signed them, trusting the woman who used to braid my hair before school and who'd once tucked a hand-stitched quilt into my dorm bed with a note. "For my Lauren. Always." My voice sharpened. "I need copies of every document, emailed immediately." "I can send them now," Brad replied. "But the loan is 2 months overdue. Balance is roughly $178,000. I didn't breathe. The number wasn't just large. It was paralyzing. I ended the call, my fingers trembling as I opened my laptop, old law school habits kicking in. My credit report loaded, and I stared. 812, that was my score.
Strong.
Pristine.
Now?
613. My stomach dropped. Not just because of what it meant, but because of how long it must have been like this without me knowing. My future, the house I planned to buy, the security I'd spent years building, was gone. Undone by hands that once made me peanut butter sandwiches and tucked me in with lullabies. I dialed Ethan Monroe, my closest friend and a civil attorney. He'd been there through everything. He knew my family, knew how they leaned on me like I was some permanent solution to problems they never wanted to face. "They forged my signature," I said, my voice cracking. "Nicole. My parents. All of them." His voice, calm but clipped, came like a lifeline. "I'll be there in 15. As I waited, I stared at my reflection in the laptop screen, drawn, tired, but something else, too. A fire. A slow, steady kind of rage that wasn't about yelling. It was about truth. About consequences. Ethan arrived fast, his usual warmth replaced by quiet urgency. I showed him the email from Brad, the PDF with my name in bold ink. But it wasn't my hand. The loop on the L in Lauren was too wide. Too familiar. It was Mom's. The same curve from birthday cards, from notes in my lunchbox, from the recipe card she left in my college apartment. That loop had once meant love. Now it meant theft. Ethan's jaw clenched. They didn't even try to hide it. I swallowed hard. They didn't think they'd have to. My phone lit up.
Mom.
The name made my chest ache. I saw her in my mind, hands cupping my face when I was sick, her voice humming as we baked sugar cookies, her arms holding me after my first heartbreak. How could those same hands sign my life away? Answer it, Ethan said gently. Stay calm. I did. Hi, Mom. Oh, sweetheart. Her voice was light, almost giddy. You free tonight? Dad's making spaghetti and meatballs, your favorite. The words twisted like a knife. I could smell the sauce, hear the old kitchen clock ticking behind her, see the worn leather of Dad's chair by the fireplace. A lifetime of comfort, now papered over with lies. Perfect, I said, my voice flat. Because I need to talk to you, too, about a call from Horizon Bank. Silence stretched. Then, just a whisper. Oh, that. You forged my signature, I said. Do you know what that means? I could lose my license.
My job.
Everything I've built. Her voice changed, softer, but still pleading. You're overreacting, Lauren. We're family. Nicole needed help. And you're doing so well. I stared at the screen. Family. The word tasted different now.
Hollow. Cracked.
What you did wasn't love, I whispered. It was betrayal. And in that moment I knew this wasn't just about money. It was about trust. And mine was gone. Sleep eluded me that night. I lay awake, the loop on the L burned into my mind, mocking me with every blink. Around 2 a.m., I gave up, dragging myself to the living room. Paper spilled across my coffee table. Bank statements, emails, fragments of a life I thought I'd secured. My apartment, once a haven of quiet pride, felt like a stranger's. I closed my eyes, and there was our old house. The creak of the stairs as I snuck down for midnight snacks, the smell of Mom's lavender soap, Nicole's crayon scribbles still faint on the hallway wall. How had that home become this? Ethan returned at dawn, his knock pulling me from a haze. He carried coffee and croissants, setting them down with a quiet, "Eat something, Lauren." His eyes lingered on the papers, but he didn't mention the shadows under mine. This isn't just a mortgage, he said, opening his laptop. It's bigger. He turned the screen toward me, and my breath caught. My name, my social security number, my address, woven into a tapestry of lies. 3 credit cards opened in my name, maxed out, totaling $70,000. A $50,000 loan from a finance company in Iowa. And the worst, my investment account, built through years of late nights and careful saving, used as collateral for a $100,000 business loan. I gripped the mug, my knuckles white. A business loan? I don't have a business. They didn't need you to, Ethan said, his voice heavy. They just needed your signature. And they're good at faking it. I stood, pacing to keep from breaking. 7 months of smiles, Nicole texting photos of her new home, Mom asking about my promotion with that proud gleam, Dad clapping my shoulder at Thanksgiving, saying, "You're our star." All while they drained my life. I found a letter from college in a drawer, Mom's handwriting promising, "We're always here for you." The irony cut deep. Your credit score's 613 now, Ethan said. It was 812 6 months ago. The words hit like a fist. If the firm found out, if there was an audit, my career could vanish. Everything I'd worked for, gone because the people who raised me decided I could carry their failures. I've looped in Nora Livingston, Ethan said. She's our best forensic financial analyst. She's digging. I nodded, my mind spinning. My phone buzzed, Nicole. A voicemail. Her voice trembled. Lauren, I didn't mean for it to go this far. Call me. I saw her as a kid, trailing after me with her crayons, begging to draw with me. Could she be sorry? Then I remembered the $9,000 spa charges, the $3,500 on handbags. I deleted it, my heart hardening. How much more is there? I asked, my voice faint. Ethan's jaw tightened. Tax filings, more loans, fake businesses. If they forged your name once, there's no limit. He pulled up a file. Your mom borrowed your laptop last month, right? For email? I nodded, a chill settling in.
Twice.
She was so insistent. And Nicole was in your office on your birthday. Stayed late. He showed me a system log, logins from mom's IP, timed after Nicole's visit. The pieces snapped together, cold and deliberate. This wasn't a mistake. It was a plan built to use me. I sank onto the couch, my voice trembling. They didn't just betray me. They engineered this. Ethan's silence was answer enough. What's next? I looked at the papers, the weight of their lies. Tonight, I said. We start tonight. The wind howled as I pulled into my parents' driveway, the old house looming under a darkening sky. The porch light glowed, Mom's rose garden wilting, its petals scattered like forgotten promises. This wasn't the home where I'd learned to ride a bike, where Dad's laughter echoed during backyard barbecues. It was a facade, hiding a truth I couldn't ignore. The creak of the porch steps under my feet brought back summer nights, Nicole and I whispering secrets under the stars. The memory stung. I clutched a folder. 50 pages of evidence. Forged applications, bank records, my stolen signature. Ethan had offered to come, but I needed to face them alone. I needed to see their eyes when the lies crumbled. I rang the bell, my heart pounding like it had when I'd come home with a bad report card, hoping for understanding. Mom opened the door, wiping her hands on a towel, her smile warm as ever. Lauren, you're here. I'm pulling out the garlic bread. The smell hit me, roast chicken, oregano, the ticking of the old kitchen clock marking time. I saw the grandfather's chair by the fireplace, its leather worn from years of Dad's stories, the checkered tablecloth still on the dining table. Memories flooded in. Mom's wooden spoons clattering as we laughed, Nicole's giggles as she stole a meatball. I pushed them down, stepping inside. Nicole sat at the table, eyes puffy, mascara streaking her cheeks. She didn't look up. Dad stood at the stove, stirring sauce, his back to me like he could keep the world at bay. I set the folder down, the sound sharp. No small talk tonight, I said. We're talking truth. Mom's smile faltered, her hands twisting the towel. What do you mean, honey? I opened the folder, spreading documents like evidence in court. These are accounts, loans, applications in my name. Most came from this house. Some from devices used right here. Nicole's head snapped up, her lip trembling. Lauren, I didn't.
Didn't what?
I said, my voice cutting through. I pulled out a statement, highlighted. You used my credit for a $180,000 loan. You maxed out 3 cards, $9,000 at a spa, $3,500 on handbags. Every choice was yours. I was scared, she whispered, tears spilling. I thought I could pay it back. Dad turned, his face worn, eyes hard. She needed a start, Lauren. You had everything, a career, a future. We thought you could take it. My breath caught, disbelief rising.
Take it?
You risked my license, my life's work, because I looked strong enough to carry your mistakes. Mom stepped closer, her voice shaking. We didn't think it'd go this far. You're a rock, honey. We thought you'd understand. I froze, her words pulling me back. I remembered her hands cupping my face after a schoolyard fight, the warmth of her Sunday roast filling the house, the quilt she'd stitched for my dorm room. Those same hands had forged my name, turned my trust into a tool. I saw her eyes now, pleading, and for a moment, I wavered. Could I do this? If I punished them, who was I? If I didn't, what did I become? You believed I'd be okay, I said, my voice low, trembling with grief. You believed I'd forgive. But you never believed stealing from me was wrong. You broke the loyalty you taught me to cherish. Nicole reached out, her voice breaking. Please, Lauren. I'll fix it. I held up her tax records, my hands steady despite the ache. You don't have a job, Nicole. You can't fix this. And even if you could, you still lied.
You used me.
Mom's tears fell, silent and heavy. Please, honey. Nicole could lose her house. Everything could fall apart. I nodded, my eyes burning. I know that feeling. I'm filing a fraud report tomorrow. Dad's jaw tightened. You take your family to court? I met his stare, seeing the man who taught me to stand tall, who cheered at my graduation. You took yourselves there, I said, when you forged my name. I turned and walked out, the door clicking shut. The night air was cold, but it felt clean. I paused by the rose garden, its blooms faded. A single bud clung to a stem, small but stubborn. I knelt, touching its petals, and felt a flicker of hope, fragile but real. Morning came, gray and heavy, as I walked into Rothman and Lindley. The weight wasn't just anger, it was purpose, tempered by loss. Ethan waited in the lobby, coffee in hand, his eyes steady. Nora's upstairs, he said. This is bigger than we thought. We took the elevator to the 14th floor, the hum of the building a contrast to the storm inside me. Nora Livingston sat at her desk, navy suit crisp, typing furiously.
Sit, she said.
I've been following the money. She opened a spreadsheet. Names, dates, accounts I'd never seen. This isn't just identity theft, she said. It's an investment scam. They used you as the bait. My heart pounded. What do you mean? She pulled up a folder. Riverpine Growth Fund. It's fake, she said. But it was sold as a high-return fund managed by you, a trusted attorney. Emails flashed up, my name, my photo, fake updates to investors. They created a Gmail address mimicking mine, using my bar license, my portfolio, my firm's reputation to lure people in. I pressed a hand to my mouth, nausea rising. They used my life to con people. Nora nodded. Most victims are your parents' friends, colleagues. Older folks, planning their golden years. She clicked to a victim list and my breath caught. Mrs. Helen Ward, my literature teacher, Mom's closest friend since I was a girl. Helen invested her retirement, Nora said. $320,000. She dreamed of a house by the lake, a place for her grandkids. I closed my eyes, picturing Helen's classroom, her red pen circling my essays, her lemon bars at Christmas, warm with her smile. She'd sat with Mom through every milestone, their laughter constant in my childhood. How could they betray her? How much total? I asked, my voice faint. Roughly $5.2 million, Nora said, funneled through accounts in Belize and Luxembourg. We tied logins to your mom's house and emails from Nicole's visit to your office. Ethan's phone buzzed. He stepped out, returning grim-faced. Your father tried to withdraw $200,000 this morning. The bank froze it. Nora's fingers paused. That buys us time. Have any victims spoken up? I asked. Nora's expression softened. Not yet. Most are retirees, widows. They're too ashamed, especially since it was friends who betrayed them. A knock came, soft but firm. Helen Ward stepped in, her gray hair neat, her coat speckled with rain. Her eyes, once bright with stories, were shadowed. Lauren, she said, her voice trembling. They said you ran the fund, that you were investing for us. I trusted them. I trusted you. Tears stung my eyes. I didn't know, Helen, I said. Not until last week. I swear. She pulled a statement from her purse, her hands shaking. My retirement, 30 years of teaching, saving every penny. I wanted a little house by the lake, somewhere my grandkids could fish, build forts like you and Nicole did. Claire was my friend for decades. We shared everything, weddings, funerals, dreams. She brought me soup when I was sick, held my hand when my husband passed. When she said it was your fund, I believed her. Now I'm left with nothing but shame. Her words broke me. I reached out, taking her hand. I'm so sorry, I whispered. They used me, too. Helen's lips trembled, but she squeezed my hand. I see that now. I was so ashamed, Lauren. I thought I'd failed, trusted too much. But I'm here because I want to fight back, for me, for others. I nodded, my throat tight. Later, over coffee in the firm's quiet lounge, we talked, not about the case but about trust. I used to think trust was something given, I said, stirring my cup. Now I know it's built, breath by breath. Helen nodded, her eyes distant. It's like planting a garden. You sow, you wait, you hope. Sometimes it blooms. Sometimes it withers. But you keep planting. Her words stayed with me, a quiet wisdom. I'm filing a federal complaint, I said. The FBI's involved. You'll be protected, Helen. I promise. She searched my eyes, then nodded. I believe you. I'll tell my story if it helps. Ethan stepped beside me. We need to go to the bank. Start the investigation. You ready? I looked at Helen, at the folder, at the truth. Yes, I said. Let's end this. Hallage Bank's conference room was stark, the air thick with unspoken weight. I set the evidence folder down, its presence grounding me. Ethan stood beside me, steady as ever. Nora sat across, her laptop open, syncing data to the federal portal. Frank Delaney, the bank manager, flipped through the pages, credit reports, forged emails, offshore transfers. He paused at the records. All from your parents' house, he said, his voice heavy. And the laptop matches the one Nicole used in your office. I nodded, my chest tight. They planned every step. Frank shook his head. We'll freeze the accounts immediately. 2 officers arrived, Inspector Hope and Deputy Morales, Financial Crimes Division. Hope's voice was firm. Miss Hayes, we've reviewed the reports. If they show up, we'll question them. They'll come, I said, my voice steady despite the ache. They think they can talk their way out. The glass doors opened. Mom entered, cashmere sweater pristine, smile polished. Dad followed, smug. Nicole trailed behind, eyes down, clutching her phone. Frank, we're glad you called, Mom said, her voice smooth. We wanted to clarify, with Lauren here. I slid the folder forward, my hand steady. Let's do that, I said. All of it. Mom opened it, her smile freezing. Dad's hands clenched. Nicole's breath hitched, a sob escaping. What are you doing? Dad growled. Ending it, I said, my voice low, heavy with months of pain. This is fraud. Identity theft. A federal crime. Nicole's voice broke. Lauren, I didn't know about the offshore accounts. I just helped reach out to friends. You helped, I said, my words sharp. You watched them use my name, my life, and you said nothing. Mom's eyes glistened. You'll ruin us, she said, her voice trembling. Over a few signatures? You'd put your family in jail. I paused, my hand resting on the folder. I saw her hand in my mind, offering me a glass of milk after a nightmare, her fingers soft, steady. Family loyalty, the vow she taught me, the bond I'd carried like a badge, crumbled under the weight of her choices. If I punished them, who was I? If I didn't, what did I become? I took a breath, my voice breaking. You put yourselves there, I said. You exploited my trust, my future. Inspector Hope stepped forward. Gordon, Claire, Nicole Hayes, you're under arrest for identity theft, wire fraud, misrepresentation, and operating an unlicensed investment scheme. Dad's face twisted. She's fabricating this, he barked, pointing at me. Nora tapped her keyboard and the monitor lit up. Logs, emails, the forged application with my license. The evidence was a silent verdict. Nicole sank into a chair, sobbing. I didn't mean it, she whispered. I looked at her, seeing the girl who'd shared my secrets, who'd drawn hearts on my notebooks. You meant it, I said quietly. You just thought I'd never fight back. As they were handcuffed, Mom turned, tears streaming. You'll regret this, Lauren. Families don't destroy each other. I held her gaze, my heart aching. Families don't steal $5 million, I said, and leave their daughter in the wreckage. The door closed, the sound final. I stood there, the silence settling. I thought of the quilt in my closet, Mom's stitches still holding. Part of me wanted to ask why. But I stayed, choosing truth over memory. A week after the trial, I walked through Rothman and Linley's halls, the marble floors gleaming softly. I wasn't the same Lauren, the daughter who'd buried pain for peace, the lawyer who thought hard work could shield her. I was someone new, forged in betrayal, tempered by resilience. The board called me in. Ethan was there, his quiet strength a comfort. Nora sat nearby, her eyes warm. "We want to launch a program," the managing partner said. "Reclaim and rise, for victims of familial fraud, people betrayed by those they trusted most." They wanted me to lead it, not just for my skills, but because I'd lived it. I'd felt the shame, the loss, the climb back. I hesitated, my fingers tracing the table's edge. Part of me wanted to lock the pain away, but I thought of Helen Ward, of the others still silent, their dreams stolen. Could I leave them voiceless? "I'll do it," I said, my voice steady. We launched a hotline and website, a beacon for the broken. Messages poured in, hundreds, each a story of trust shattered. One afternoon, Marlene, 67, called, her voice trembling. "I gave my savings to my daughter's business," she said. She vanished. "I've been too ashamed to tell anyone. I feel foolish." I closed my eyes, picturing Helen's hands, my own sleepless nights. "You're not foolish," I said. "You're human. And you're brave for speaking up." Marlene's voice softened. "I thought I was alone."
"You're not," I said.
"We're here." I visited my parents' house one last time, the state having claimed most of it. The rose garden was wild, the porch light dark. I walked through the rooms, memories rising. The creak of the stairs, the ticking of the kitchen clock, Nicole's crayon scribbles on the hallway wall. In my old room, I found a photo, us at the county fair, Mom's arm around me, Nicole sticking out her tongue. I traced the edges, my throat tight, then set it down. In Nicole's room, under Bill's, was a notebook, its leather cracked. Inside, her handwriting, "Riverpine plan, don't let Lauren find out." My breath caught, but I didn't cry. I tucked it away, a reminder of why I fought. Back home, I took down the family photo from my wall, its frame heavy with years. In its place, I hung a new one, the first Reclaim and Rise group, Helen smiling beside Marlene, Tom, Ruth. A new beginning, framed in truth. That night, I stood before the support group, their faces worn but hopeful. Helen was there, her posture tall. I folded my speech, speaking from the heart. "I used to think family was everything," I said, my voice soft. "That you forgave anything for blood. I thought love meant carrying their weight, no matter how heavy. But love doesn't demand silence. And family isn't an excuse to break someone." The room stilled. Helen stood, her voice steady but raw. "I saved for 30 years, dreaming of a house by the lake for my grandkids. Claire was my friend. She brought me soup when I was sick, held my hand when my husband passed. When she took my savings, I felt foolish, like I'd failed. But here, I'm not just a victim. I'm a survivor. Every Sunday, I still bake lemon bars, not for Claire anymore, but for the women in this group who remind me how strong we can be." Her words settled over me, warm and heavy. I smiled, tears stinging. "I lost a family," I said. "But I found you, people who know betrayal but choose to rise." The group grew, not just sharing stories but rebuilding. Marlene taught budgeting, Tom fixed a widow's car, Ruth organized coffee mornings. I worked with a bank to recover funds, helping Helen reclaim $50,000, enough to start again, to dream smaller but real dreams. She began hosting poetry readings for the group, her voice steady as she read Frost and Whitman, weaving their words into our healing. One evening, we gathered for Helen's 80th birthday, a quiet celebration in the community hall. The group had planned it, lemon bars, laughter, a handmade card signed by all. Helen smiled, her eyes bright. "This," she said, holding up her glass, "is what trust looks like now." I nodded, my heart full. That night, I brewed a pot of tea, not for comfort, but for celebration, of survival, of the second half of life that no one could steal from me. Days later, I drove to the old bridge near my childhood home, where I'd walked with Mom, her hand in mine. I stood there, watching the water carry leaves downstream. Maybe some bridges weren't meant to be burned or rebuilt. Maybe they were just meant to remind us we had the strength to cross them, to find new shores, to build new homes, not of blood, but of heart. I turned and walked away, the night air cool, the stars bright. I wasn't just healing. I was reborn.